Welcome to Tim's Vinyl Confessions. I'm Tim Derling, and Sarah's with me once more. We're going to do another Top 10 Songs episode. People seem to like these ones, and we like doing them. And this is a band that actually Sarah got me listening to. I would have never listened to anything by Fleetwood Mac on my own accord previously.
Welcome.
I guess it was, I'd always heard them on the radio. I guess it was like, you listening to them, it kind of made me realize how just perfectly constructed these songs were, and discovered that I really did like a lot of the songs. But I mean, you grew up with this music.
I absolutely did. Like, I joke with my mom that, I must have heard it in the womb, and I think I did. And I think growing up, my mom has always been a huge fan. Loves Stevie Nicks too. So yes, absolutely. It's in the blood, so to speak. And I think too, like, there's a lot of singles, but we've hit upon some that are not necessarily big singles.
My list is we have some in common, but my list, there are some deeper tracks, because when I get into a band,
yours is deeper.
No,
than mine.
well, you know that I'm a completist, so I tend to go in and find some other stuff. And Fleetwood Mac, of course, is a band that's been in various incarnations over the years, so
yes, absolutely.
There's bound to be some different things. So let's start off with your number 10.
So my number 10, I don't know if this is truly a number 10 or not. I have a difficulty in ranking, but I adore this song. I'm So Afraid.
Among other things, it's on this Fleetwood Mac live album from 1980. It's really the live version on the dance that you would have been.
I think so.
It's originally from the self-titled album from 75.
So I have great affection for the dance album, the live album from the mid-90s. Lindsey Buckingham is an extraordinary guitar player, and I think this is one of those songs live. It really highlights his amazing ability, and I'm talking with my hands, so I gesticulate wildly to try to make my point, but he's fantastic, and this is a really great song, if you aren't familiar.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever a single, so
no?
I don't think so.
Oh, look at me with a deeper one.
I know. So my number 10 is a song from this album, Mirage, 1982, and it's a Stevie Nicks song called Straight Back, which got some FM radio play, but wasn't a big single. But it's a really cool song, and I think I kind of got more into it once I realized what it was about. Because the previous year, she had put out her first solo album, Belladonna, and it sold like 4 million copies. It was huge. It sold way more than Tusk, which would have been the previous Fleetwood Mac album. So she fully established herself as a major solo artist in the 1980s, fully independent of coming from Fleetwood Mac. And this song, Straight Back, is basically about being yanked back into not just the studio, but that Fleetwood Mac band environment, which would have been completely volatile, especially at that time. And I just like it. It's got a cool vibe to it, and yeah, that's my number 10.
I love it too. I think it could have fit on one of her solo albums in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
I think so. Number 9. You gonna hold it up?
Yeah.
I have Hypnotized.
We talked about this song on our Yacht Rock episode, and I will trumpet this song to no end because it's so good.
It is. It's the incessant rhythm of it. It is hypnotizing,
Yeah.
to reference the song title. And I would call it a harmonizing vote. It's just great.
It's multi-tracked vocals. It's Bob Welsh on lead vocal. You can hear
Christine.
Christine on the background vocals, but it's like he did one vocal track and it's not exactly matched with the other one. And it's like the song said, it's hypnotic. The guitar in it is great. Yeah, it's a fantastic song. It's a hidden gem from their catalog.
For sure. And it sounds different, too, from their later songs.
My number 9 is kind of a lesser-known song from this album, from the self-titled album 75. It's the song Blue Letter, which I wasn't familiar with until I think that we saw the Rumors tribute band in Fredericton. They did this song, so we were listening to it on the way down, and I always liked it. It's unusual in that it wasn't written by anyone in the band. It was written by these two Curtis brothers, who I think were in a band with Buckingham and Nicks, and they liked the song, so they recorded it. But it's kind of a rocker.
It is, and it sounds
Kind of an Eagles type rocker. Now that I think about it.
sounds from an earlier era than
Yeah.
77.
This was definitely a bridge between the previous eras and Rumors. Like this is kind of a dry run for Rumors right down to the album art. But Blue Letter, yeah, I like it.
I like it too. Number 8 for me, I have Book of Love from Mirage. And I've got Slash Straight Back, but Tim's already talked about that one, so...
Yeah,
we
Book of
won't-
Love
we
is
won't go
good.
there.
It's
Book of
good.
Love
It
is
wasn't a
great.
single either, I don't think. So you're doing pretty good at picking that.
You can take that back then, what you had
Yeah.
said previously.
Guess so.
It's Book of Love. I don't know what else I can say about it. It kind of sounds like it's from an earlier era as well, to me. But this is obviously from early 80s. So
Lindsay had also put out his first solo album in '81 too, that had the song "Trouble" on it. So
great song.
must have been just writing a lot of songs in a lot of different styles.
Probably.
Yeah. Mirage gets overlooked because
I think
you know
it does.
it's
What was the big song from that? Is it Gypsy?
Gypsy and Hold Me were the big singles off of that album, but there's a lot of good songs on it. Mm-hmm. So my number 8, if I could find it, I know it's here somewhere. I thought I had mine in order, but anyway, my number 8 is, you know, one of the hardest things to do is pick songs from this little album here, Rumors, and I went with one that I've always liked. And it's the song I Don't Want to Know. I think it's just a feel-good song. It's got Stevie and Lindsay singing in harmony pretty much throughout the whole song.
Yep.
And every time the chorus comes around, you just want it to come around again. It's a deeper song. It's a deeper cut on Rumors. It's not one that gets a lot of radio play, but I really like it.
It's just well crafted.
Yep.
I think. Number 7 for me, I have Big Love.
I'm assuming you mean the version on here.
Absolutely.
On the dance.
And Bleed to Love Her is on there too, right?
Yes.
And I love that one too. For similar reasons. Again, it's Lindsay losing his mind, singing by himself with the guitar, and he is able to the sounds that he's able to get from his own voice, his own vocal instrument, and the guitar, and it's just like a wild, manic, and yet very controlled performance.
The live acoustic version of Big Love is insanely good. Like, I don't know how he does it.
I don't know either.
Just manic finger picking, and he gets these really fast arpeggios going.
Yep.
It's insanely good.
And I don't know what album Bleed to Love Her came from previously.
Well, Bleed to Love Her,
I only know it from
when
here.
it first appeared on The Dance, on their reunion
Okay.
album, and a studio version of it came out on the album Say You Will, which was 6 years later. So
Okay.
it was in reverse
Gotcha.
reverse
Makes
order.
sense. But it is a good one.
My number 7 is from the much maligned, much understood Tusk album, 1979. One of my favorites. What Makes You Think You're the One? It's a Lindsay song. I like the drums in it. The drums just crack. It's catchy. It's got a pop melody to it. Tusk is such an interesting album, and the stories behind it are interesting. But you know, sifting through the 20 tracks on there are some really good, just memorable songs. The guitar is really good in it, and yeah, that's one of my picks from that one.
Number 6 for me is Sisters of the Moon.
Also from Tusk.
I really like this one. I don't know how familiar I was with it until we saw the tribute.
I wasn't familiar with it at all, and I was asking, what song is this?
It was amazing.
But this rocks. Like, this is good.
Was that was the Classic Albums Live?
That was Classic Albums Live doing.
They do an
Rumors.
incredible
yeah, and that was in
job
their
of
second. And now that I think about it, that's an unusual song to go to, which is cool.
to do live like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it wasn't a big single by any
it was
stretch.
fantastic. So I think my enjoyment of it is very much colored by the live experience, and in retrospect, it makes me think of, it's kind of a similar sound to Gold Dust Moment. I guess that's probably why I wrote that.
Yeah, it's a very Stevie song in a lot of ways. Yeah. My number 6 song, Sarah's already talked about I'm So Afraid, originally from the self-titled album. What I like about this song, and I mentioned this to her, and it wasn't a song she was familiar with, but the outro of that song, when he's just soloing, reminds me of Kings and Queens by Aerosmith, which is like sort of this epic type of song for them. It doesn't, not really an Aerosmith type of song if you're not familiar with it, but the outro of that reminds me of it. Not a copy, but it just puts me in that mood, and I like it. So that's my number 6.
For number 5, I have Sarah.
Also from Tusk.
And I like it in spite of the fact that it's my name spelled differently. I like the storytelling in it, and again, it's Stevie Nicks with her vivid poetry and the way that she describes things, and undoing the laces, and then at the end of it with the reference to the heartbeat, and it never
it's
dies.
very sad.
It's incredibly sad, and
and the more you read about it, the sadder it gets.
Yeah, so I think that adds to the fascinating quality of it for me. It is rather melancholy, I suppose.
Drowning in the sea of love.
Very poetic, yes.
Yeah. And the lyrics talk about a variety of situations, one no better than the other.
I don't think that it could be pinpointed to being about, she's never said,
No.
But I don't believe that it's about only one relationship or one incident. It's probably an amalgamation of a bunch of things, but it's lovely.
So my number 5 is the title song from Fine album, Tango in the Night.
Oh.
And the more that you look at this album cover, the more you see in it, especially if you're looking at the vinyl. Is that a UFO?
Looks like one.
Like, I never realized that there was a crocodile coming out of the water here. Anyway,
Is this your number 5?
Yeah, I mixed the two up.
Oh.
I'm getting back on track.
Okay.
I like this song. I wasn't, this is one I wasn't familiar with, but it's it very sounds like a nighttime song, the way that it comes in. It's mysterious sounding. It's got this harp-like guitar that starts it off. But then in the middle of it, it's like, it's got these, heavier sounding guitar chords, and it's great.
It's because they can.
Yeah.
So it's my number 4, actually, Tango in the Night.
Yeah.
And we, on one of our vacations, I think we listened to the entire album, and there are others that I really enjoy from that album. I don't know that it gets enough attention either. Tango in the Night. Family Man and You and I Part 2 are some other songs that I love from that particular album, but Tango in the Night is just, like you said, there's so many different elements of it, and it's a great song.
It's aptly titled. It sounds like a song in the night, tango or whatever else. Mm-hmm. My number 4 is an overlooked song because it came out post the initial departure of Lindsey Buckingham from this album, Behind the Mask. It was the first single from the album called Save Me. Great pop song. Kind of written as a rock song, but performed as a pop song. Mm-hmm. Mick Fleetwood's on brushes, so he's playing quite aggressively, but it doesn't sound that because he's playing with brushes. This song only hit number 33 on Billboard, but it went all the way to number 7 in Canada. So I think people in Canada are probably more familiar with it, but it doesn't get any radio play now, and it's a great song. It's a pristine song, and it doesn't sound that different than something that could have been on Tango in the Night.
It doesn't. I really like it, and I liked it when it came out. I think I had it on some sort of one of the earlier MP3 players, even.
I thought you were going to say a cassette single.
No.
So, number 3.
Number 3 for me, I have As Long As You Follow.
It's one of the 2 new songs that came out on Greatest Hits in 1988.
What was the other new one that was on?
No Questions Asked.
Okay. I think As Long As You Follow, it kind of echoes some of the coming off of what it would have been the previous. Was that Tango?
Yeah.
Similar kind of sound with the, is it synth or the keyboard? And the harmonies. It's like the quintessential Fleetwood Mac sound of the time period,
yeah.
I think.
My number 3, Sarah's already talked about, from this very bizarre looking album cover, mystery to me, Hypnotized. And it only gets more bizarre when you flip it around the back. It's got a penguin on it. Penguin is like their mascot for some reason. I don't know why, but they've had penguin. They've got an album called Penguin, and anyway. Hypnotized is just this killer of a song. Like, it's just so good, and I kind of sucks you into its world for its duration. With Mick Fleetwood's again hypnotic drum beat that does not change. He keeps that same shuffle beat up throughout the song, and the guitars. Bob Welsh. I don't know if it was Bob Weston was in that band. Again, it's that interim period, but I highly recommend that song. Even if you don't think you like Fleetwood Mac, it's a cool early '70s. I don't know what you'd call it. It doesn't sound like anything that came before or anything that came after.
No.
Like it's kind of exists in its own space. It's my number 3.
So for number 2, I have Silver Springs.
Studio version. The only thing I have the studio version on is this double disc best of here. But originally, of course, it was from Rumors. Would have been.
It was
on
intended
Rumors.
for Rumors, and so I have kind of as just a side note. I mean, you could easily choose Dreams, and Dreams is a beautiful song, and I do really enjoy it. But it's gotten lots of attention.
Yeah.
Especially it went TikTok viral in the last little bit. Silver Springs.
Another sad. It's sad. It's not quite as sad as Sarah, but it's
but
in a different way.
It is melancholy still, and it's basically, and to see them, Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham perform it live, and she's singing it right in his face. I don't know how they've ever done this live and in person, especially given their history, but it's basically like she's in his face pretty much cursing
You'll
him.
never get away from the sound of the woman that loves you.
You will never escape. It's
Yeah.
like you're going to continue to hear her, and it's true.
Yeah.
And he will never escape. It doesn't
He
matter.
can leave the band, but guess what?
That's right. She can kick him out of the band.
She's not going to sing it that way to Neil Finn.
No, and they will never escape one another.
No.
Like their names are forever going to
Yep.
be tied together. But yeah, it's like a curse in song,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically. But it's very catchy nonetheless.
It's beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
Stevie Nicks.
Yeah. I didn't know, again, not knowing that much about the group, I didn't know that was an old song. I first heard it when The Dance came out in '97. It got a lot of radio airplay.
I think the same for me.
I didn't know that it dated back as far as it was a B-side of one of the Rumors singles. I mean, I don't know how any record label would have heard that and thought, oh, that's not a top 10 single. Throw that on the B-side.
Well, I think she probably blames Lindsay for that
Yeah.
because it was too long to be able to get on. Well, I mean, I think that she would. We saw something.
Oh,
where
yeah,
she
the
said
Classic
as much.
Albums documentary on it, yeah. And it totally wouldn't have fit on Tusk either. So
No.
there it is. It's just kind of this song that
like a moment in
people
time.
like in the know, anyone that picked that single up. And I'm sure radio stations at that time, given how big they were, must have flipped it over and played it for a while.
I hope that they did.
Yeah.
It's a miss if they didn't. But anyway.
Number 2, I am gonna give a nod to the early period of Fleetwood Mac, which if people don't know, they were essentially a blues rock band, and the type of band that influenced the likes of Aerosmith and even Led Zeppelin, because they predated. They came out in 1968, and I would say it's probably their signature song. And it's the song "Oh Well," which originally came out, at least in the U.S., on this bizarrely. They have bad album covers. I'm just going to say it. Then Play On, and actually, Oh Well's a bonus track on here, so I don't know. It's a little confusing with their release history, but it's in 2 parts, and it's the first part that most people talk about when they talk about Oh Well by Fleetwood Mac. It's the heavy blues.
It's fantastic.
It's, if you like early Led Zeppelin, this is one of those songs that radio would play once in a while, and then you hear it and you go, oh, that's what that is. A lot of people have covered it, but nobody's done it any better than the late Peter Green. And it stops and starts, so it's been claimed that a lot of Led Zeppelin's Black Dog, not that it's the same tempo, but the idea of it stopping and starting again, came from that song. And it's just a killer song that never in a million years you'd think would have the Fleetwood Mac name attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
But there you go.
And other bands do it live too, and it's fun.
Yeah, Tom Petty's done it live.
I've seen footage of Chaim doing it
Yeah,
too.
yeah. When Jimmy Page did the live album with the Black Crowes, they did that song on it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's pretty great. Number 1, I have Everywhere.
Yes, this is an 8-track from 1987.
Cool,
Tango
Tim.
in the Night. Thank you, honey.
So again, going back to Tango in the Night, I think this is kind of, child of the 80s that I was, that I am.
Tango in the Night is the first thing I actively remember coming out by Fleetwood Mac.
For me too, probably. But this is kind of, I guess, it kind of goes along with As Long as You Follow, and in the same sort of
From the same
vein.
well of, Christine songs.
I think so, but it's the way that they sing together, the three of them in particular. It's just lovely, and I've heard other people, like, on YouTube, you can see, like, Paramore.
Yeah.
I think it was a BBC Live or something like that. They did a version of it, and it was great. So other people love it too. It's not just me.
It's got kind of it's kind of a cool video.
Yes, that's true. It does.
What is it? The Highwayman?
The Highwayman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not really in it.
They're not really in it. You can see they're kind of silhouetted in the background, but see, Lindsay had left, so anyway.
And I don't think that you see Stevie.
Probably not.
No.
She wasn't in good shape.
No, she wasn't, unfortunately.
So my number one, and it might be obvious to go to this album, but I never knew that. I always knew it would be this one. It's The Chain from Rumors. I mean, it's so epic. It's a short epic. They pack a lot into however long the song is. It's not a lengthy song, but
It doesn't need to be.
no, it's just perfect.
And it goes, like, all over the place in terms of, well, it's because it's multiple songs that they've
that they kind of
pieced.
Frankenstein together. Yeah.
And yet it's still wonderful.
Yeah, there's a few songs where they kind of tip the scale and they rock a little bit harder, and that kind of tweaks my ears, and this is definitely one of them. The first time I ever heard this song was by a Canadian metal band called Kick Axe from the 80s. And on their third album, they do The Chain, and it's really cool. Like, it's a really cool version. It's quite faithful. Except that the bass is like way distorted. It's like do 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 do, but you can tell what song it is. But then I heard the Fleetwood Mac version. I thought it still rocks.
It absolutely does.
So that's.
But you know what? I've heard there's a country. I don't know if it's the Highway. If it's the Highwaywomen or Highwomen. It doesn't. Maren Morris is part of it anyway.
Oh, okay.
Like contemporary country, like a girl
Supergroup,
like a female supergroup.
Right.
Yes, and they performed it, and it's still, even a country version of it is great. It doesn't seem to matter.
Fleetwood Mac catalog is such that the Dixie Chicks, of course, had a big hit with Landslide. That's the first time I ever heard that song.
Okay.
I didn't know that was a cover. I mean, Hole did Gold Dust Woman. I mean,
They did.
their songs can be interpreted in so many different ways by so many. They've just influenced so many different types of artists. And like our Bryan Adams episode, we've each listed 10 songs. We've listed a lot of well-known songs. Neither of us had Dreams. Neither of us had Go Your Own Way. Neither of us had Rhiannon.
And it's not to say that they're not great.
Yeah, neither of us had Little Eyes. Neither of us had Seven Wonders. I mean, so there are a lot of great songs. Tried to spread it out over the catalog.
We didn't overlap a lot either,
No.
so that's good. A few.
So I'm sure there's differing opinions out there. Be curious to see some of your top 10 lists. What are your top 10 favorite? Maybe just some of your favorite Fleetwood Mac songs. So
There are many.
thanks for watching Tim's Vinyl Confessions.
Bye.
We'll see you later.